Hey, what's up, fantasy people? This is Tyler, Big Turd Ward, and Jason Uthenwoldt, and this is the Fantasy Footballin Show. Anyways, this is part 2 of our week 4 weekend wrap up, where we're just kind of going over some of the most fantasy relevant games and sharing our thoughts. So, the first episode we hit the Seahawks game, the Cowboys game, and the Vikings game in the reverse order. If that means anything to you, Jason.
Yeah, the reverse.
That was good. And now we're gonna hit the Broncos game. Is that right, Jason?
Yeah, we were just kind of comparing Geno Smith to Russell Wilson, so we did the Geno Smith game. Now let's do the Russell Wilson game against the Oakland Raiders. And Russell Wilson's best game of the year. Yeah. 237 yards, 2 touchdowns, even had 4 rushes for 29 yards and 1 touchdown. Best game by far this year. But everyone's
it's still not as good as I'm looking. Like right now, I'm comparing notes. Still not as good as Geno.
Yeah, not as good as Geno Smith. So I'm going to drop Russell Wilson and get Geno. There we go. That's happening tonight. Even though he did great, right? That's probably not the main story for all fantasy players. The main story is the tragic loss of one fellow running back with the heart of a lion and the strength of an elephant
and the legs of a gazelle,
but the legs of a field mouse. Javonte Williams gone. Bye. See ya. Out of there.
My second round pick.
Yep, draft pick wasted.
You got me one good game. It was the first week where I lost too, so it didn't even matter.
So he got you probably around like 20 yards or something like that. Got hurt. So now, and then they were showing him leaving the stadium on crutches. Got the report today that he tore his ACL, MCL, PCL, FSL, BCL.
In the NFL.
NFL stands for not for long when you got legs like a field mouse. So of course, what's the one thing you got those players now? They're like, all right, gotta get Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon is likely already drafted, even though he's not doing great. He's had like 5 fumbles in his last so many attempts this year. It's crazy. Like 40 out of his last 40 rushing attempts, he's had like 5 fumbles. So who's going to be the next guy up? Right now, it looks like it's going to be Boom.
I still think that Gordon's the one to own. I think his ceiling is like a high-end RB2 if this offense gets going. But yeah, if you're going off the waivers like me, you have to get Boone and see what he can do. I need to see I need to research Boone and see what his deal is, because
see what college he went to.
I heard that he's not a rookie. I think he was around last year, and he got his chance to start one game and he did terrible. So that's what I was reading, because I've been reading all this Javonte Williams stuff. And so I've just been kind of, it was a rough weekend for me with the Tua injury, and then because I was just god awful, and then Javonte. So I was trying to keep my head clear for one day and then look into it, but I need to start doing that. But so
are you starting Melvin Ingram the third now? Guaranteed flex. Boom, put him in there.
Melvin Gordon, I think is I would start him. At least, flex or RB2. The way running backs have been going this year and everything, maybe he is a running back too,
And he's likely going to get those goal line carries.
He was getting goal line carries before, and he was going to be in the doghouse before when Javonte was there, but now there's nobody on the streets that's worth anything. What are they going to do? Go pick up Adrian Peterson or something, So he's going to be used a lot, and for pass protection and everything with Russell Wilson, I'm sure they're not going to want to put Boone in there all the time. So if you can trade for Melvin Gordon, do it now, because this is your one chance. I'm going to try to, I think. See what happens.
Maybe Arian Foster would like a comeback, a Disney story comeback.
If Arian Foster came back, I'd pick him up. Frank Gore, more likely.
Frank Gore.
He
has his own issues right now.
Yeah. And then on the other side, the last two games, Josh Jacobs looks like he's low end RB1 or maybe RB2, high end RB2.
Maybe they're trying to finally be like, take all the pressure off Derek Carr, give it to that Alabama running back.
And if you watched him, man, he was dragging fools. So
28 rushes, 144 yards, 2 touchdowns. I feel like, they believe so much in Derek Carr. I mean, all the Raider fans, all that, they believe Derek Carr so much. But if you're not going to be able to run the ball, you ain't going to get much done. So I think they're going to try to get the running game going and help out Carr.
So what I would say to Josh Jacobs owners would be
trade him to me.
I would say trade high. I would still say trade high because it's still Josh McDaniels' offense, and they still didn't look that great. Derek Carr didn't look that great at all. So
there's times where they'll have that drive where they look great. You're like, man.
So it's it is a new offense. Maybe we should give them time. But yeah, I know it's kind of hard to judge the Raiders offense right now. That's all.
Yeah, very frustrating. Devontae Adams got his though. He got back to 9 receptions, 101 yards, 13 targets.
And that Matt Collins would have had a touchdown, but his foot was out of bounds. I was watching the game. It was like a 40-yard touchdown.
Oh, you got to be quicker than that. He ended up with 333 for 0 then.
Yeah, and Darren Waller got you 2-3 points. So really, if this is how it's going to be, and the Broncos do have the Broncos have a great defense, but if this is how it's going to be, it seems like it's either going to be Devontae Adams or Waller, you know what I'm saying, or Hollins. It's going to be one of these three. And it can almost be like that with the running backs too, with the Josh McDaniels offense. So,
well, apparently the cornerback for the Broncos, Sutton, God, it's like Sutan.
No, well, Sutton is the wide receiver, but
I think they have a similar name to the wide receiver. That's what I'm saying. Sutton. Anyway, they were saying they actually praised him for how he did against Devontae Adams. So you can make a highlight reel of how he covered him.
Really?
There we go.
Do you hear that?
Yeah.
I think
my dogs hear it.
I was just saying, I think Amazon Prime is here. What is? What is that shirt? Oh, that's Stranger Things.
Friends don't lie.
All I saw was Friends. I'm like, why are you wearing a Friends shirt, man?
Friends don't lie. Stranger Things.
So yeah, but Devontae Adams going forward, would you trade for Devontae?
No.
Would you just want to let that be somebody else's headache until they get that figured out?
Do they get it figured out? My whole thing is I never trusted Derek Carr. Devontae Adams.
We have insider. We have insider information.
We know these people, man.
They went to our rival high school.
Yeah, we know him and his older brother.
Even though we don't want anybody to know we're from Bakersfield, and they make millions of dollars. Something's wrong with those people because they make millions of dollars. They still live there.
Yeah,
it's like, dude.
And we got out.
If you're rich and live in Bakersfield, you got breathing too many gas fumes.
Oil fumes. Some fracking.
But anyways, hey, if you see us, invite us over. We'll show up.
Yeah. I would love to hang out with them.
A bunch of freaks.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't trust Derek Carr. So that's the main reason why I wouldn't want to get Devontae Adams. I don't trust Derek Carr. I think Derek Carr can be a good quarterback. I just think he's too many mistakes or something like that. So if I don't trust the quarterback, I would get Devontae Adams, but I would give in return something not worthy.
Yeah. So he's going to be a top 10 wide receiver by the end of the year, but it's going to come in ways that you probably doesn't help you that much. It's going to be almost like a Mike Williams situation or something like that.
I already deal with that. I can't be doing two.
Yeah, you could if you had Mike Williams and Devontae Adams, man, you did the same thing. Anybody else want to talk about
Yeah, what do you think of Judy or Sutton?
Oh yeah, that's right. I was gonna say let me sneeze real fast, but oh.
Let's choo.
Oh my god. So I have Sutton. You know, I'm Sutton's almost the only piece of the Denver Broncos I want right now. So I was just looking at him today. I mean, yeah, his targets were a little bit less, but he got that end zone. And when I was watching the game, he's super involved. So, I mean, I love Sutton, and I would take him over Jerry Jeudy any day. And Hamler caught that one deep pass, which is what we were looking for in the preseason and stuff like that, thinking he'd be the deep ball guy.
Hammer.
But yeah, I think it's all going to just still be Sutton and Jeudy. But Sutton still led the team in targets. So, right? Man, my stuff is jacked. Because it says, well, it's under targets. It says TDs 7. I'm like, I got 7 touchdowns from Cortland Sutton on 5 catches. So I do think, you know, Russell Wilson still only threw for 237 yards. So I think when they get this figured out and he's throwing for over 300 most of the time, I think that both of those guys are going to be, you know, Sutton's going to be wide receiver 1, and Jerry Jeudy will be a low end 2 or a flex.
I think Sutton would probably be a 2. I think Jeudy would be like a flex.
See, I'm biased for Sutton because I need him to be a 1.
Yeah.
Because Michael Pittman Jr. wants to not put his foot in bounds 2 times in a row. So, and then, so I think that's it from that.
Yeah, one more game.
About the Kansas City Chiefs and the Bucs, old man Brady
against the Golden Boy.
It's the Golden Boy.
Patrick Mahomes is crazy. His touchdowns were nuts.
Well, they were saying that, you know.
How do you stop that guy?
Yeah, well, this is the first time he went against Tom Brady since like the Super Bowl a couple years ago or whatever. Yeah. So this was like a revenge game.
2 years ago, you ate my Subway sandwich. I'm angry.
But yeah, so Patrick Mahomes did great. Looks like Travis Kelce's going to be probably the number 1 tight end. Maybe him or Andrews, but still top 3 lock. And then I thought that, Jason, you own Pacheco, right?
Nope.
You don't own Pacheco?
Dropped his butt.
Interesting.
Yeah. He's on the waiver wires.
As a desperate man that I am, I'm going to write his name down as soon as this is over.
Yeah, he's out there just chilling, man.
I thought nothingness. You still owned him. Because I was like, dude, if CEH gets injured like he does every year, Pacheco is insane in the membrane, man. He's going to Cypress Hill his way right through that.
Yeah, I dropped him for Herbert.
Oh, well, I would too. Good job.
Didn't even matter. The 2 running backs on my bench outscored both my number 1 and number 2 running back. So I didn't even need to do it. I could. Oh yeah, we were talking about that game earlier. Rashad Penny killed it. Yeah, he was on my bench.
Yeah,
so people know that.
So, how do you feel about Pacheco now? Would you wish you had him, or?
Well, now he actually had carries, and you're just like seeing how well he did, and you're just like, dang. The only thing is, you're right. You're going to have to wait until CEH gets injured because CEH is playing very well. He is playing very well.
I watched the highlights today, and I was like, yeah, you know, he looks better than – I mean, Pacheco does look good, but, like, not that much – CEH looks better. And and he gets all the receiving stuff, that little flip in the end zone and everything. Yeah. So CEH seems to be one of the steals of the draft right now.
Yeah.
And as a CEH owner, his first 2 years in the league, it is very upsetting. So I wanted to see him go down in flames. So at least I was right, you know, was justified for crossing his name off my draft list this year.
Never again.
So, going forward, Isaiah Pacheco, you better pick him up if he's on your waivers and just wait till CEH goes down. And if it ever gets to like a 50-50, maybe you can actually start in a flex. And then on the other side, did you see Leonard Fournette's line?
Well, before we go there, I also want to add Juju Smith-Schuster did have 8 targets. He only had 5 receptions for 46 yards. So Kelsey led the way, and Juju, for people who drafted him, did finally get some targets, maybe some catches. Not a great stat line,
but that's so disappointing though. Like
yeah.
They're like, oh, Juju's doing a great job. Juju's doing great. And I'm like, yeah, dude, for in real life football, but not for fantasy. So
yeah, and we want
like
fantasy.
Even though this was a good game for Patrick Mahomes, and he only threw for 250.
I know.
So it's like, yeah, so he's going to be efficient. Like, Patrick Mahomes is going to get 2-3 touchdowns a game, but as far as the yards go, it seems like they're pretty difficult. And like the only reliable receiver on the, is Kelsey.
Is Kelsey.
I wouldn't start anybody else, which is crazy to think, man.
But wasn't Scanley? Wasn't he also? He didn't play, right?
Yeah, he did. He went 3 for 63 on 5 targets.
I can remember.
And I watched it, but he's like all he does is he catches the ball and gets hit. There's no separation. There's no run after the catch. It's like he just catches it and gets hit. Like it's I don't know. He doesn't pop when you watch him in real life. So I didn't think too much of him.
All right. Well, on the other side,
wait 1 second. I want to say one thing. Eric Bieniemy or whatever, they were talking about getting Sky more and more involved. So I looked for that. He went 2 for 31 with 4 targets, but I thought it was interesting that he's, even when they want to get him more involved, he's still not there. So I don't think this is a year of Sky Moore. It's probably going to be next year.
Yeah, where they get rid of Juju.
Yeah, it's just going to be too much to go around. He's not that much of a difference maker right now. It's not like a George Pickens or Garrett Wilson or Olave. These guys that can actually are that much better than the people that are in front of them.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
So, did you hear what I said about Leonard Fournette's line though?
Yeah, I don't even understand it. Minus 3 yards and 3 carries.
And when I watched the highlights, he was killing it in the passing game. So
yeah, like 7 receptions. Yeah, 7 receptions, 57 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 rushes for minus 3 yards. What a weird stat.
And they wanted Rachaad White to they got down like 14-0 against the Chiefs. So I just think they said, screw it. We're just not going to run the ball.
Yeah, he got a rushing touchdown.
Rachaad White did?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought that was crazy. So if you're a Leonard Fournette owner, you're just like, what's going on, man? Like, I'm getting negative rushing yards and I lost the rushing touchdown, So, but at least you were saved by receiving, but you can't count on that every week at all.
No.
I'm wondering if how good the defense is against the run for Kansas City, because Chris Jones, man, like he stomped on like JTT last week and then, them this week. So you might not want to start running back against the Chiefs.
You gave a little factoid last week that White, they said they want to get him more involved. They have to get him more involved.
Right. Oh, yeah. And it was something like that. And it was somebody else too, but White is somebody that I'm looking at as a Javonte Williams owner. Just like, one of those lottery tickets, because I got to start throwing darts at running backs. And, that's one of them. It's not one of the top ones, but it could do worse.
Well, Tom Brady went back and threw for 3 touchdowns and he had 385 yards. He played well. He had like a 15-yard rush that took 15 years to complete, but he did it.
He looked god awful when I was watching him.
Mike Evans, 10 targets. Chris Godwin, 10 targets. That's can make fantasy owners happy. Mike Evans had the 2 touchdowns though. Chris Godwin was 7 for 59. Julio Jones, 1 reception, 7 yards, 0 touch.
So, Godwin was out there. He didn't look the same. Russell Gage was kind of limping around. And then, Julio Jones was like, he's still injured. So he was thrown to a bunch of injured wide receivers. But I thought it was, you should trade for Chris Godwin, I think. I think Chris Godwin's by low right now.
Yeah, I like his stat line for coming back after an injury again to his knee. I've always liked Chris Godwin. I feel like, I mean, he's still got 10 targets. I think that's not going to change. I think he's going to get those in around 10.
Well, you know what is going to change is Mike Williams getting 10 targets.
Mike Williams?
Mike Evans, sorry.
Oh. You think that's going to be less?
Yeah, yeah, dude. Like last year when they had I know that they had once they get their slot receivers and a healthy Chris Godwin or whatever, Mike Evans was barely getting any targets last year, and now he's just like he's soaking them all up. Like I can't remember the last time he was getting 10 targets a game from Tom Brady ever since Tom Brady's been there.
He's the only healthy wide receiver right now.
Yeah, so I mean, if you want to trade Mike Evans for like a top tier something, that'd be something to think about too. Are you writing that down? Oh, I thought you were right. For some reason, I thought you wrote that down. I was like, what?
No, I'm looking at you. I have him in my other league.
Yeah, and then Brait, he was a tight end that got 8 targets. So, and if, he loves tight ends, Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And I haven't heard anything about Cameron Brate. He was like everybody loved him when before Gronk got there. So
he's been with the industry for a while. I had him years ago when Winston was throwing him the ball.
So if you're needy for a tight end, that's somebody to look at. I mean, pay attention to. I wouldn't pick him up and start him yet, but over the next couple of games, pay attention to him.
Keep your eye out.
Yeah, and then Russell Gage. You should have known that. If Chris Godwin's in, Russell Gage is not going to get much. So
yeah,
that's where all the targets went. And yeah, so I think that's it, Jason.
I think we covered it all.
Patrick Mahomes is going to be. I think Patrick Mahomes is going to be off and on. I don't think he's going to be like a top 3 quarterback this year, but there are going to be some weeks where he puts up. He can like a top 3 quarterback, but I think he's going to be average most weeks.
Yep, like he was last week.
Yeah. So I mean, I think this was a really important game to him, and even then, he only got 3 for 250 yards. But Tampa Bay's defense is good.
Did you see that Kansas City tight end get a 1-yard touchdown? He just did a quarterback sneak.
No, but that's that dude that was catching all the touchdowns in the preseason that I was watching. Fortson or something like that.
Yeah, you didn't see that play. Mahomes was like shotgun, and that tight end was like next to him, and the Mahomes is like looking over here, and he was like, whatever he's saying, and then the tight end just like walks up, gets behind center real quick, goes hike, and then does a quarterback sneak for a touchdown.
I think they call that the annexation of Puerto Rico.
I'm like, how does Andy Reid come up with this stuff?
Famaruski. Oh, right. Yeah. Andy Reid. Dude, Andy Reid still goes to show. Just believe in Andy Reid's offenses. And if CEH can keep this going, it's going to be like he's going to be a top 5 running back at the end of the year.
Yeah. He's playing well. I think that's it, Tyler. I think we did it all.
All right, people. Well, I hope you like this show. I hope you didn't lose anybody for the year, like me. It sucks, but you can't give up. As long as you keep on trying, things will work out. And
don't stop.
Hey, and as long as you keep on trying, there's hope. If you don't try, there's no hope. So just keep on trying. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You have fun playing fantasy football.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you like this video, there's you can do that in real life and click a thumbs up. Or I won't talk about that right now. Or you can subscribe, make us feel amazing. Even though I lost Javonte Williams, man, I wouldn't even have nightmares about it. I would have dreams about thumbs ups and
subscriptions beat all. Subscriptions beat all.
And if you don't like this, do that in real life. Make us feel terrible. There's that thumbs down button, and there's a comment section, and you can tell us whatever you want us to know. Jason, you haven't seen this one yet, have you?
No, I've seen that dog.
Oh, I know, but I'm saying on video.
Oh no, it looks like video adds like 10 pounds.
Yeah, the other dog got jealous and just jumped on the camera. But anyways, this is Jason and Tyler, Fantasy Best Friends, and this was a fantasy footballing show. So we'll see you on the waiver show tomorrow.
See ya. Tune in. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah. Save your butts.
Save your butts. Save your butts.